While most people have heard of common phobias like the fear of heights, acrophobia, or the fear of spiders, arachnophobia, there are many strange, less talked about phobias. Join us today as we talk about the strangest and rarest phobias. A phobia is an irrational fear of an object, situation, or living thing. While fear is a natural response to danger, phobias often occur in response to something unlikely to cause real harm. In some cases, a person with a phobia will meet the diagnostic criteria for a specific phobia. This is a type of anxiety disorder. Someone with a specific phobia will experience intense fear and anxiety when confronted with the source of the phobia, which could include blood, heights, or specific animals like dogs or cats. Phobias are characterized by significant distress and often cause a person to avoid the source of their fear or suffer from extreme anxiety when faced with it. Someone experiencing a phobia that is interfering with everyday life should consider undergoing treatment. Finding professional care generally leads to positive outcomes. Before we continue, a brief request from us. If you find value in this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss our valuable content on psychology in the future. Now off to the list of the rarest and strangest phobias. Number 1. Arachibutyrophobia, or the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. Arachibutyrophobia is the fear of peanut butter sticking on the roof of one's palate. While the phenomenon has happened to everyone at one point or another, people with arachibutyrophobia are extremely afraid of it. The severity of this phobia varies from person to person. Some with this condition may be able to eat small amounts of peanut butter, but others will completely avoid eating peanut butter or anything with a similar consistency. This is a rare phobia that can stem from a greater phobia of sticky things or a fear of choking. It may also stem from a traumatic incident with peanut butter, such as choking on or being allergic to it. Number 2. Nomophobia, the fear of being without your mobile phone. Nomophobia is the fear of being without your phone. People who suffer from nomophobia are extremely anxious about not having their phone with them, having a low battery, or having their phone go out of service. Regardless of the circumstances, not being able to use your phone causes people with this specific phobia to become panicked and experience extreme symptoms of anxiety. Number 3. Rithmophobia, or the fear of numbers. Many people grow up dreading math class, but people with rithmophobia have a genuine fear of numbers. People with this fear usually experience anxiety associated with doing math or dealing with numbers in general, not the fear of actually seeing the number symbols. Rithmophobia can significantly impair a person's life, as it is difficult to do many tasks or occupations without dealing with numbers. Number 4. Plutophobia, or the fear of money. I wish our politicians were afraid of that. Although many people wish that they had more money, Plutophobia is the fear of money or wealth. People who have Plutophobia may be afraid of wealthy people or fear becoming wealthy themselves. They generally despise money and the prospect of having to deal with it. People who have this fear may sabotage their careers in order to avoid making more money or becoming wealthy. The fear of becoming wealthy may stem from a fear of the responsibilities and pressures associated with it, or the fear of being the victim of a robbery. Number 5. Xanophobia, or the fear of the color yellow. Xanophobia is the fear of this color yellow. People with this rare phobia are usually also afraid of any object that is yellow, such as school buses and flowers. People with xanophobia may avoid the color yellow at all costs, and they may even find yellow foods to be distressing. This phobia tends to interfere with everyday life, as yellow things can be found everywhere. Number 6. Blutophobia, or the fear of bathing. The fear of bathing, washing, or cleaning oneself is known as a Blutophobia. This phobia most commonly affects children and fades with age, but it can also affect adults. People with Blutophobia avoid bathing and showering, which can lead to unpleasant body odor and sometimes social isolation. Their fear of bathing and the anxiety they experience while bathing, on the other hand, is so severe that these consequences pale in comparison. Number 7. Optophobia, or the fear of opening one's eyes. Optophobia is the fear of opening one's eyes. This fear can be extremely debilitating. We all know that it's hard for an individual to carry out daily activities without opening their eyes. People with optophobia may prefer to stay indoors or in dimly lit areas. This phobia is usually associated with a generalized anxiety disorder. Like many other rare phobias, this fear is usually the result of a traumatic incident. Number 8. Octaphobia. The fear of the number 8. People who suffer from octophobia will probably not reach this point of the video, because they're afraid of the number 8 when it appears written down, such as in addresses or advertisements. They may also be afraid of objects presented in groups of 8. This unusual phobia may be caused by its resemblance to the infinity sign. It could also be the result of a traumatic event involving the number 8, such as an accident on the 8th of the month. Number 9. Globophobia, or the fear of balloons. Globophobia is the fear of balloons. The level of fear varies from person to person and can range from avoiding near balloons to avoiding places with balloons altogether. In some people, the fear is so great that even seeing a balloon on television triggers intense anxiety attacks. This rare fear can be especially hard for young children, as balloons are often present at children's birthday parties. Globophobia is usually brought on by a traumatic experience with a balloon as a child, such as popping a balloon and being frightened by the noise. It can also be linked to a fear of clowns, as the two are often found together. Number 10. Omphalophobia, or the fear of belly buttons. People who have this phobia avoid seeing or touching their own belly buttons. They may even cover the belly button with a bandage to avoid looking at it. They will avoid places where their belly buttons are exposed, such as the beach. Number 11. Pogonophobia, or the fear of beards. Pogonophobia is the fear of seeing people with beards. This usually stems from an alarming incident with a bearded person. It could also arise from a person not liking that a beard hides someone's face. People with this phobia will avoid those with beards and may even have anxiety when looking at a picture of a bearded person. They usually will not be friends with someone who has a beard and will feel extremely nervous when talking to someone who does. Number 12. Vestophobia, or the fear of clothing. Vestophobia is the fear of one being clothed. For many people, this manifests as a fear of a specific garment. Others may be afraid of tight-fitting clothing that makes them feel constrained. In other cases, it is a fear of all types of clothing. This uncommon phobia can be caused by an allergy to a specific type of fabric or a traumatic event associated with a specific piece of clothing. Former soldiers, for example, have developed a fear of the military uniform. Lastly, number 13. Phobophobia, or the fear of phobias. Phobophobia is the fear of phobias. This can be described as free-floating anxiety, where a person spirals into a circle of anxiety due to fearing fear itself. Phobophobia is commonly co-diagnosed with other types of specific phobias and is often associated with anxiety disorders. People with phobophobia will often avoid social situations or other situations that can lead to anxiety. It can greatly impact a person's everyday life depending on the severity. As we all know, everyone who has a phobia should not be ashamed of it. Our advice would be to find clinical help so that you can get it addressed and get it sorted out. That concludes our video on the strangest and rarest phobias. Also, be reminded that this video is primarily for information only, and we do not claim to provide professional insight on the field of psychology. Additionally, please leave a like, subscribe, and click that bell button. It really helps us out. There's also this new button called the thanks button. Sending us these will definitely help the channel. Anyway, see you later, and thank you for watching.